Hey all, welcome back to What's Your Worst. We've got part 2 here of the best Vermont stories with Jeffrey and Simon. And we're just gonna, last week we talked about the best Burlington stories, and because we all met in the Burlington area and did a lot of fun things in this Burlington area. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about like the greater Vermont stories at large, and like the best things that we've done, the coolest things that we've done outside our little neck of the woods here in Burlington. Mm-hmm. With that, I want to lead into something that we sort of alluded at the very end of last week's video, was to talk about the trips up to like Hill Farmstead.
Yes.
And the Northeast Kingdom at large. Hill Farmstead, for those who don't know, and we talked about beer a little bit. I talked about beer a little bit in the last video. Is the #1 rated brewery in the world, and it's about 90 minutes from where we're sitting right now.
And it is up there. Got a bad pack.
We got a bad pack.
How could you?
I was going to jokingly tell Sam to shake it again while you were out of the room. But
Again?
I didn't even need to. Isn't that the worst?
Can you please zoom in on you doing this when you edit this?
Shout out to
Like behind the
Athletic
mic
Brewing
stand.
Company. I really don't like your beer.
You don't like Athletic?
No,
We
not at
tried their stuff actually. We did a tasting
Jesus.
of Athletic. Coaster's going for a ride.
Yeah.
Sokovia's going for a ride. No.
all. You could go like ASMR and hold it up to the
I
microphone.
think that's true.
Just crack it.
Get your mouth out of here.
Sorry.
There we go.
Oh, that's going to sound crisp.
It's like mostly foam now, but...
No.
Sorry, you're talking about Hill Farmstead?
No, but before that, before we get into Hill Farmstead, we were saying we actually tried Athletic Brewing at a tasting at
At a Wegmans.
in
Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts, yeah.
It was not great.
It was not great, and we had to pretend we liked it to make the guy
Because
not
the
feel
rep
bad.
was there, and he was very adamant that we were going to like it.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
Is that the IPA?
that's the golden.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
the golden ale.
Okay.
I don't know if you prefer the IPA. I just got the golden. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's great. I like the yellow one. I like the Mexican lager.
Oh yeah, the Cerveceria or whatever.
Yeah.
Cerveza
Atletico.
Oh, that's what it is. Cerveceria would be a brewery that makes. That's a brewery.
Yeah.
That's.
Come on, Sam.
Come on.
So Hill Farmstead is one of the best breweries in the world, and it is 90 minutes away from where we are, and it is incredible. And we've had some really good stories there. And honestly, I've been there about once a year with Jeff,
Yeah,
which is.
we normally make the trek. Yeah.
And I think 2019 was the first year I didn't go with Jeff. And 2020 is probably going to be the second year I don't go with Jeff, because we're probably not going to go this year.
Yeah, who knows? You never know.
But
Doubt it.
But we went. I believe the first time I went to Hill Farmstead was with you, way back in the winter of 2015.
Your memory is better than mine. I
It's
don't know.
gotta be 2015. Now that
I just
think of it.
remember the time we went for.
2015 would have been when you were...
I was 21.
21,
I was 21, so I think it was right then.
And then, did we go to Lost Nation on the way back?
That was a
That
different
was
time.
when I went with you guys.
There was.
Okay.
And we got like dinner.
That was another time because
That
we.
was
another
Because
time.
we've been to Hill Farmstead together, I believe 3 times.
Yeah.
We went 2015,
Somewhere
16, 17.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I know that in 2018, no, it was 2019. I don't know, maybe 4 times.
Yeah, because the last time we went, I remember we had like a big group of us go.
Yeah.
That was with
And-
like Pat and Adam, and
Yeah.
Pat-
We had a
We had
ton of
we had
people
2
there.
cars.
That was probably my favorite time that we went, actually.
Oh yeah, because I drove you and
Julia.
Julia.
No, she was
No, you, Jen, and Stan?
Yeah, that sounds right. Julia hadn't been until we went last fall, and that's going to be one of my other stories. But the first time that you and I went, it was the last day of classes, I think, at UVM for the semester, for the fall semester. And I think, or Jeff had just finished his last final or something, and he had a concert he was going to later in the evening, and it was about like noon. And so we
I do remember this.
we were like, we were just saying, what are we gonna do with our time? We're the only of our friends that are still in town, and what are we gonna do? And so it's like,
go drink some beer.
Fuck it, let's go to Hill Farmstead. And so we drove out in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, and to Greensboro Bend, and
I didn't even know that was the name of it.
we got there. Yeah, we got there, and there were probably about like 10 people there.
It was quiet.
It was really
That
quiet.
was the most quiet I've ever seen.
It was a Friday, and they normally do their big beer release on Wednesdays. They start their big beer releases on Wednesdays, and we got there on Friday around 1:30 or 2 o'clock or something. There was no one there.
It was beautiful too. I remember it was all snowy.
It was all snowy.
Yeah,
it just started to snow as we got there, and we went inside, and no one was there, and so we went up to the counter and we ordered our beer, and it was just the best first experience I could have had at Hill Farmstead.
I remember we were both just so blown away.
Yeah, because the beer was excellent, the atmosphere was excellent, that tap room was beautiful, the hillsides are beautiful. It was snowing.
Was the dog there?
Charlie was there.
Charlie was there.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Is that recent?
he passed away last year.
Ah.
Charlie was Hill Farmstead's resident golden retriever.
Charlie.
To Charlie. He was a beautiful soul.
That will be the next beer that they name. Will be after him.
They're 100% making a Charlie beer. They've already made 2 other beers, I believe, to commemorate other animals that have passed away.
No, there will be a Charlie beer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be first in line. I won't be first in line, but I'll be in that line.
As long as you can be realistic.
You gotta show up at 2 a.m.
No, I'm not driving up there in the middle of the night. But that time and subsequent times going, I've got another Hill Farmstead. I got 2 more Hill Farmstead memories, but I'll pass along for a little while.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've only been to Hill Farmstead, 2 times, I think? Maybe once, maybe twice.
We went for my birthday.
Yeah, I think it's 2, but I also went to Greensboro Bend for a skiing thing. I don't ski at all, but one of my coworkers is a photographer as well, and so she was doing a photo shoot for a hotel type thing, like a lodge up there, and she was looking for people that just wanted to go skiing, cross country skiing for free. And I was like, absolutely, I will do that. It wasn't free, I had to pay for it, turns out. But it was still a lot of fun. And I'd never been skiing before, but it was definitely a good first experience, and I would probably do it again. I'm definitely in the right area for it.
Yeah, there's tons of skiing in Vermont. I don't know if you've heard. Do you have anything up that way, going to Hill Farmstead?
Going to Hill Farmstead?
Up that
Northeast Kingdom.
Or Northeast Kingdom. I mean, that's the only reason I've really gone up there. But I don't know. Again, just sometimes I mean, obviously you go up there because the beer's great. But more, I remember more so just hanging out with our friend group on that porch and just talking and drinking and having a good time. So that's definitely. They're not even they're up there for one of my favorite breweries in Vermont, but honestly, just I think of it more so for how everything's laid out. And being able to spend time
every time you go there, it's an experience. It's
Yeah,
not like there's some breweries like Zero Gravity.
I was just gonna say
you'll go to all the time, and the beer is pretty consistently good.
Yeah, it's not. Hill Farmstead's not your it's not your brew pub. It's not. It's not your typical. It's you go there. You go there for a purpose, and
we don't just go on a whim on a 90-minute drive onto the north.
Exactly. Exactly. And so it's not if we went to Foam last night. We can go to Foam any weekend that we want. We can go to Foam any night that we want, and Foam's great. Foam also makes excellent beer.
That's my favorite brewery.
It's my favorite brewery in the world.
Yeah.
But
in the world. Wow.
I've only been to a few, but it's one of my Hill Farmstead is. I've had one of my most unique beer experiences there. Last spring, before I flew out to Oregon to visit my folks, our friend Stan, who was on the worst bar stories episode way back, episode 3-4, one of those.
Is that traveling or bar stories?
Bar stories,
right?
Because he told a traveling story.
Yeah.
But we had him on for the bar stories episode.
Yep.
So our buddy Stan is one of the biggest Hill Farmstead fanboys that we know, and he's probably the only big Hill Farmstead fanboy we know. And he is good friends with one of the taproom managers at Hill Farmstead, and she arranges private tastings for people, and it's not like in a private room. It's literally just on the floor. They like section off the part, and you
getting a table at Hill Farmstead is
kind of a big deal.
A tricky thing.
It's a tricky thing. It's like it's not easy, and so having the reservation was really important. But basically, what you do is you put down I think it's like a $300 deposit, and so obviously getting more people is worth it. You're able to try more things, and what they'll do is you send them a list of whatever beers you want to try, and they will curate your list. They'll curate a menu for you, and you're able to order off of a menu, and it's always beers that aren't available to the general public. It's like, so we were trying like imperial stouts that had been aged in like Vermont whiskey barrels for like 4 years, and like we were trying like 3 different versions of it, and then we were trying like these like mixed culture sours that had been cultivated from like Belgian yeast strains that were super interesting and complex, and I just remember sitting there. There were 7 of us who were doing this, and we started at like $50-$60 a head, and then we ended up spending about $75 a person because all the bottles have prices, and they're on-site bottle pours, so they're more pricey than they would be if you just bought the bottle at home.
Yeah.
But these are things that you couldn't get. Basically, you couldn't just buy these. They have a cellar of these beers that are only available to people who do this special reservation, and that was the single most unique beer experience I've ever had. And we had the person like explain to us the history of the beer. We had like the fucking menus that were curated to our group and our preferences, and that was one of my favorite times. I tried to recreate the experience about 4 days later with my own family in Oregon at DeGard Brewing, and I couldn't quite capture the magic because they're not as into beer as I am, and as into beer as my brother and sister are and can be. I don't think that they were intending to drink quite as high dollar as we were that we did at Hill Farmstead.
Yeah, Hill Farmstead's not a place for you to go to just sort of cheaply drink.
No,
not at all.
There's nothing that you can get cheap there.
No, it's worth it, but
speaking of Hill Farmstead memories, cheaply drinking. I remember waiting in line. I remember waiting in line to get beer one time with you there, and there was a beer called Brother Soigné, and that he was gonna order. It's like a lime sour.
God.
It's really good.
And it's a good beer. It's a great beer.
Yeah.
But I remember 2 things about this. One, I remember Jeff mispronouncing the beer when he ordered it, and they were like, "Sir, you can't have it anymore."
That's not what I remember. Yeah, you're getting to it.
I think I'm used to it. And then somebody scoffed at him.
Because I said,
I'd rather have Bud Light.
Bud Light Lime. This is almost as good as Bud Light Lime. Sarcastically.
Yeah.
And a couple of the snooty craft beer folks that were in line.
Toxic craft beer folks.
Yeah, you're ruining the scene. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought that I was beneath them, which we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, the thing is, they might not be able to enjoy Bud Light Lime, but you can.
Yeah, just one more thing for me to enjoy, snobs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Brothers Swain. That was a good one.
Brothers Swain.
Is that what I said?
I think you said Brother Salagna, because Brother Bologna.
I had a few Edwards and yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of beer stories.
Sorry.
No, do you guys have something that's not beer related about Vermont?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I'd hope so. That sounds unhealthy.
Jeff, let's go with you first, because Sam just talked for like 10 minutes about Hill Farmstead.
Sorry.
There's a lot to get into there.
Yeah.
Man, there's just, I don't know, there's just so much. As far as just like trips that we take and whatnot, oh boy. I remember we were on a pretty big mini golfing kick for a while.
That's true.
Those were some fun trips too.
We just found another one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yesterday, just driving around the state, we found
another one. Yeah.
Where?
On the way to Lawson's.
Where are we going? Oh, Lawson's, yeah, to a brewery. But yeah, that was like a fun little kick to go on too. Again, so it's almost like it's a little overwhelming to sort of unpack different things about having me personally lived up here for 6 years.
Yeah.
There's just so much that we all did and that you guys continue to do, and sometimes it's like, oh my god, they sort of pick different experiences and like to talk about them. But I think we had a mini golfing kick for a while. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that. We had, we went to the place in Essex that I hated because I just lost every single time.
No, we had one where you won.
Couldn't get it right. Yeah, maybe one point.
There was one where you like kicked our asses. You were like under par, like which is impossible for mini golf.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I
still mini golf one, right?
I was thinking of that one too.
Stow's fun. That's a fun little course.
One of my favorite things to think about, honestly, and especially living in Newton, Mass now, it's just not as much of a thing, especially this year, is the farmers market scene you guys have. I literally miss just on a Saturday morning just getting up. When we used to live on St. Paul Street, and we would literally just get up, roll out of bed, and breakfast and coffee, we will just walk 3 blocks down to the farmers market, try all this different stuff, support all of these local, be it farmers or crafts, artisans, whatever.
Crafts.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I should say craftsmen because it's like so much of it's food. I was like craftsmen, but I guess there were certain.
There's an art market.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that, and we on the way over here today. Actually, the farmers market was open, and with everything going on in the world, I mentioned I had wanted to sort of stop off, and just it was out of my mind.
Something that you can just stop off at.
Yeah, there's just a large gathering of people, and I was really bummed out that we couldn't because that's one of my favorite things to do.
And the scene just isn't there.
No.
Yeah. So, but that was always something. Again, when we have some semblance of normalcy back, that's one thing I really look forward to doing when I get back up here, because it's just going around and just seeing all of these different things that people in your own community are producing and sort of supporting your community in that respect. I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was going to go to you.
Oh,
because I know you've lived here for so long.
That's true. I don't know. Besides like Burlington, the only thing to do in Vermont is like go to Middlebury that I can think of, and Middlebury is
closer to where you lived.
Yeah, it's like 15-20 minutes, and like it's not a small town. Like it's very much a city.
Yeah.
But it really depends. Like there has to be events that you have to go to there. You can't really just go to Middlebury and like expect to spend the whole day there.
I only went once to see a fun concert.
At Middlebury College. Oh, at Middlebury College.
Yeah, they were playing and fun.
We went to
Cider Stock was there.
We went to Cider Stock, but we went to Woodchuck and
we went to Woodchuck too.
With who?
I was just the two of us and Julia, I think.
I think so.
It was for my birthday. I think it's one of my birthdays.
Yeah, Woodchuck's great. I've had a lot of fun at Woodchuck.
It's a beautiful building.
I was going to talk about there's a food truck festival there. I don't remember. It was a couple of years ago, but there were probably like 50 or so food trucks.
There's a food truck festival?
Yeah.
In this state?
And I told you about it.
Did you?
I think so. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but
I feel like I missed out.
Well, you still live here, so
it's true.
Maybe they'll come around again.
Dude, it's COVID season.
This was I think it was in the fall. I can't remember, but it was great. There was like live music there, and that's where at least I first saw Upstate, who's a great band that we've had the pleasure of being able to like chat with before
and see multiple times.
Yeah, I mean Jen got a T-shirt signed by them, and they're all great people. Like I think I've seen them 4 or 5 times now.
I've seen them 3 times myself. Yeah.
But that was just a great experience because I love food, and having live music from a band that's awesome is just an added bonus.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I've in combing through all the memories I have for the state. Like Julia and I were talking about it a little bit last night, and she mentions that we should talk about the fact that we went to the New Year's the Cat Wright New Year's Eve concert, and that was the first time we saw Cat Wright's great, but like that was the first time we saw Upstate, and we saw like while we were there, they mentioned that they had a concert at Higher Ground in February, and so I bought tickets while we were there, and we went to that show, and then we saw them 9 months later in
at Arts Riot.
At Arts Riot.
Yeah,
I think they just made a live album from that concert.
Really?
I think so. I gotta look into that. But the
Arts Riot's a great place.
Yeah, that and seeing them 3 times in 1 year was worth it. Even if it was a lot of the same songs, it was they're so engaging, and being able to see them is 100% worth it. And they're cost-effective tickets.
Absolutely,
they're not expensive.
No,
tickets.
And I mean that New Year's Eve concert that you're talking about was another great night. I mean, like we
hung out. We were watching Tiny House Hunters at your place.
Tiny House Hunters, and then we
did we get Tiny Tie?
We might have, or Mandarin or something.
Mandarin probably.
We got some kind of takeout.
Yeah.
And just hung out for a couple of hours beforehand.
And then we just went.
To Higher Ground, and
that was my first time at Higher Ground as well.
Really?
Yeah, I had never been to Higher Ground, and I went again 2 months later, and I haven't gone back, but like I never went to shows at Higher Ground.
I went to my fair share. That was a
couple.
Great venue.
On the topic of farmers markets, though, there was a day, must have been about 3 years ago, back in the summer. It was like down the end of the summer. Julia and I decided to go on. We decided to have one plan, and that was to go apple picking or fruit picking at Champlain Orchards down in Shoreham.
Mm-hmm.
So we drove down to Shoreham early in the morning. We went peach and nectarine and apple picking in Shoreham, and then we went. We decided to just wing it and just keep driving, and we ended up driving just through this part of the state that we never had thought about driving through before. We cut in towards like the middle of the state, and then we ended up in Rutland. And I'd never been to Rutland before, and we decided to stop for lunch at what was then called the Hop and Moose Brewery, but now it's called Rutland Beer Works because they
really?
Because they lost a lawsuit to Moosehead in Canada for the use of the Moose logo, and we got lunch there. Their pizzeria as well, and then we walked down the street to the Rutland Farmers Market, and that was the first place I ever got to try Whistle Pig whiskey, which is a great Vermont whiskey producer. We were doing sampling, and then we also bought Julia a headband that she really enjoys, and I associate that day with like a really nice thing. The Rutland Farmers Market was small compared to Burlington, but it's a nice one. And we've been talking about going back for a couple of years now, and we just keep forgetting to go back.
I mean, that's really the only redeeming quality of Rutland.
Yeah, there's nothing great about Rutland, to be honest.
No offense, Rutland.
No, a lot of
offense, Rutland.
Yeah.
You need to get your act
just
together.
not in this camp.
No. Yeah, I don't. Besides the Burlington Farmers Market, I don't think I've been to a whole lot of other farmers market. We went to, I think, Ludlow, and then the Virgins one that happens every now and then. I think I've only been a couple of times.
I've never even been to the Shelburne one.
No, I've seen the Shelburne one a lot, but I've never been there.
It's at the same time as the Burlington one, which is like that's the tricky thing. Like, why?
Saturday mornings.
It's Saturday mornings, and then I've been to the Winooski one, but that's small.
Yeah. Oh, I've been to the Winooski one a couple of times. Yeah, but besides that, I mean, there's not.
Do you remember when the indoor farmers market was held at Memorial Auditorium?
Yes.
And then Reinhardt's did that.
Oh, I think we went there once.
A couple. Yeah, I've been to
But there's also like the I can't the artisan market or something. That's a similar vibe.
I think it might still be there. Or it was in the
it's
basement.
not in Memorial Auditorium, but
no, that place is condemned.
Yeah, it was at Memorial Auditorium once, and then it was at the City Hall, I think, a couple of times.
And then it was at Davis Center now.
Is that?
I think the indoor one for the winter isn't the Davis Center at UConn. I have one more that I want to bring up.
Yeah, let's do a quick one.
Yeah. Last fall, we've been talking about, Julia and I have been talking about going and doing the Great Vermont Corn Maze of Danville for a while.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And so we decided to get a group together. We got our roommates, Zach and Jess, and our friend Steph. We all piled into Julia's car, and we drove up to Danville. We did the corn maze, as excruciatingly painful as it was at some points. It took us about 3 hours, but we got through it. And then we went for lunch at this awesome place off the road in Hardwick, I think. And then went to Hill Farmstead, and it was everyone there's first time, except for me. And
You were the guy, the Sherpa.
I was the Sherpa. I was guiding them to I was Red Skull. I could guide them to a prize I could not attain or something.
I don't know.
I forget the quote. But the
Only seen Avengers once.
you ever seen Infinity War once?
Yeah.
But and I just remember all of them having just the perfect time. It was the only time I've ever been at Hill Farmstead where the weather wasn't cloudy in some capacity. It was a sunny day, and it was a sunny day in October, and it was just perfect. And I wouldn't trade that day for most others.
It's a good note to end it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you all for tuning in to 2 weeks of us just rambling about Vermont and
Yeah, it's a good place. Try it sometime.
yeah, try it once
Once everything's open again.
and safe.
Yeah.
But until then, stay safe out there, and I hope you enjoy what you've been watching, and consider subscribing.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Cool.